Well, we're coming off of a week where we played two very, very exciting games. Unfortunately, we lost the second one, but nevertheless, we're just kind of in the midst of the grind that this league offers, where there are no easy games and no easy opponents, and so we've obviously have our well-documented issues, and so it's imperative that we stay on top of things from the standpoint of keeping our guys fresh and that sort of thing. But they've been doing a great job, and so we feel okay about the way we're playing. We really do. So hopefully we'll keep that up this week and play well in the two games that we have this week.
Our first question is from Jerry Tipton of the Lexington Herald-Leader.
Kevin, in light of the incident with Marcus Smart at Oklahoma State, I'm wondering how you try to guide your guys on interacting with fans or reacting to what fans might say or do.
Well, obviously that appears to have been a very unfortunate situation, and I didn't see the actual incident or anything, but I think when I just think that there's you just hope that you can avoid those things, and I think that our players know that you shouldn't get engaged and shouldn't get into any kind of an altercation with the fan, but sometimes when you're the focal point of a lot of attention, that's easier said than done. So but knock on wood, fortunately we haven't had any issues, and hopefully we won't.
Do you sense at all, as a follow, Kevin, any coarsening of the culture, so to speak, that there's more there's more of a possibility of an incident like that?
I think that fans more and more are of the opinion that they can say whatever they want without regard and without ramification, and probably because at times you can do so anonymously, whether it's talk radio or whether it's internet type things, and then all of a sudden you get into a public setting and maybe there's some carryover, but I get the feeling that fans feel like they can say kind of whatever they want to, that comes with the price of admission, and sometimes there might be a ramification for something that you say if it's out of line, and so anyway, it's an unfortunate deal, and hopefully those types of things will be able to be avoided.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is from David Paschall of the Chattanooga Times-Free Press.
Hey, Coach, as a follow-up to Jerry's question, because you also had an incident where Oregon coaches have come out saying they were spit on after a game at Arizona State this past weekend. So you're saying you think fan behavior, I mean, within the SEC, do you think it is different now compared to when you first got into coaching here in the league?
I don't know about that. I don't know that I feel like it's any different. I think that every school has some passionate fans, and including us, and sometimes there are things that are said that are inappropriate, and I've been told by coaches in our league that there are inappropriate things said at our game. So I'm certainly not pointing fingers at anybody in particular. I just think that the fans need to be responsible like the coaches and the athletes are supposed to be responsible. And we need to remember that good sportsmanship is supposed to be part of this collegiate athletic experience. And I get the passion and I get all that. I do, and I appreciate it very much. But I think that there's a difference between cheering hard for your team and yelling obscenities at an opposing player.
And then, of course, the other big story out there right now, obviously, is Missouri defensive end Michael Sam coming out yesterday. Just kind of your reaction to that, and as a coach in an SEC, how would you handle something like that? I mean, obviously, he came out before the season started, and it didn't affect Missouri at all. They won 12 games. Just kind of your reaction to that.
Well, I read Buster Olney's column this morning, and I think that what he wrote sort of it expresses my sentiments. I'll be glad when the day comes when it's a non-issue, and it should become a non-issue because obviously there have been gay athletes in every professional sport, in every locker room over the course of time, and the only difference is now that we may know about some of them as opposed to not knowing, but it hasn't quote unquote affected the locker room up to now. It doesn't seem, and obviously it's like I said, it hopefully we get to a day where it's completely a non-issue and it doesn't even have to be discussed.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
I got some more mundane basketball questions for you.
Okay, these will be a little easier.
Bobby Portis obviously had a big game, against Alabama. You guys did a good job of keeping him under wraps, and Mike was saying he did a good job of not forcing things. Just wondering what your thoughts were about Portis as a player after seeing him in person, and how he maybe didn't force up shots that weren't there.
He's a really good player. He plays with a high motor. I think that's the thing that I like the best about him. He plays really hard. He does not have to have the ball to be a good player, which is ultimately, I think one of the best signs about a good player is a guy that doesn't always have to have the ball in order to impact the game. He'll go rebound it. He'll set a screen. He'll make a pass. He'll play hard on defense. I'm very, very impressed with him. Obviously, what he did against Alabama was spectacular. But he's a terrific player and has a terrific future, I think.
Also, Mark Wade, I mean, he's obviously been around for a long time, and he's kind of been buried on the bench, and then he had 11 points the other night. Did he surprise you? And what does it do for a team when an older guy who maybe has been struggling kind of regains his focus?
Well, I think anytime somebody comes off the bench and has a good game, it's a shot in the arm to a team. Now, I think in Arkansas's case, they play so many guys that, what's the difference if it's one as opposed to another? Because you figure at some point one of those guys is gonna come off the bench. Again, there's so many of them that they're going to come off the bench and play well. I mean, Qualls probably played better than anybody, and he came off the bench, and so. But anyway, yeah, they've got a lot of good players, and they're very, very deep, and Mike runs them in and out, and keeps guys fresh, and no, they're a very, very talented team in my opinion, very talented.